Welcome to RCBC's Who's in My Class on the Baroness Podcast Network with Dr. Brooke Myatt. If you look around your lecture hall, the library, or the hallway outside your math class, you see hundreds of faces. People are rushing to class, grabbing coffee, or just trying to find a quiet place to study. We spend hours every week right next to them, but how much do we really know about the people sitting in the next seat? RCBC is built on a foundation of diverse backgrounds, hidden talents, and extraordinary journeys. Behind every student ID is a story, a personal challenge, an unexpected ambition, or a goal that defines their path. This series is dedicated to asking one simple, powerful question: who is in my class? We're here to pull back the curtain and spotlight the voices of the students who make up the heart of our community. We're seeking out the deeply personal, the inspiring, and the truly unexpected stories you won't hear anywhere else. Join us and meet the people who are navigating life, defining their future, and achieving incredible things right here at RCBC. Get ready to be inspired by your classmates. This is RCBC's Who's in My Class. Joining us today is Dillon Sibilla. He is an actor, writer, director, producer, and is currently working on his first feature film that was shot right here in South Jersey. It's set to premiere in the summer of 2026. He is also the owner and founder of DS3 Films, and he's a returning student right here at RCBC. So after several years of professional experience, certificate programs such as the University of Cambridge's Writing for Performance and Entertainment Industries program, Dillon has returned to continue his educational journey right here at RCBC. Dillon, we are super excited to have you here on the student sitting next to you, the student's voice. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I wanted to just start off because you have such a inspirational story of getting out there in the real world, having real world experience, going out and doing some other educational programs, certificates programs, and then you came back here to RCBC. Why RCBC? What is it about RCBC that brought you here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a fantastic question. I'm excited to be here again, like I said. Really, it was the first place I came after I graduated high school. So this was the first college experience that I had. And it was always something that I wanted to come back and finish eventually in my life. And I didn't really know exactly when that would happen. And like you said, I went off and did a lot of work. I did these different certificate programs and did a lot of different educational programs. So I was always doing something. And I always wanted to come back here and finish what I started. It was just something that was very, very important to me. And this year, I just had the opportunity to come back. I was living in New York, actually, prior, the end of 2024. Yeah. So I had an opportunity to come back to South Jersey, continue the program, the exact same program that I'd started literally 10 years prior. The school was really, really great, just letting me come back in, pick up where I started, enroll in classes. So, it just meant a lot to me to finish what I started, essentially.
And I think that's what's really interesting about your story and about community colleges is that there's no one person fits a mold to come back. And I am such a supporter of the term like lifelong learning.
Yeah.
And you should never stop learning, right?
For sure.
And I think that's what's really interesting about you. And what I thought was really great is how we connected, that you had a class with another instructor and then myself. And then you told that instructor about your whole life story. And they were like, I think you need to call Dr. Myatt. You need to email her. You need to put it out there.
Yeah.
And I think the networking and the sharing of the stories and the talking to your professors, I think is something that possibly a lot of students lack, and they don't know how much can happen when doing that, when having those relationships and building those relationships, whether that's in an educational setting or in obviously your perspective of professional settings of making movies and trying to get capital and raising money and putting a crew together. Do you want to share any of those kind of relationship building tips maybe for students, whether that's here in the classroom or that's out in the real world? What is a benefit to them for those things?
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a good question. When I first came here about 10 years ago, when I was, 18, 19, I was kind of the opposite. I was very reserved. I was very shy. I kind of kept to myself. And I wasn't really great at making those connections. So I didn't really put myself out there. I didn't really, tell anybody my story or let anybody in like that. And when I came back this time after so much growth and so much experience, you just kind of learn how to do that. I did the complete opposite. So every single professor, every single class I had, I told them my story first and foremost. I emailed them introduction, probably a way too long, oversharing email of like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is exactly me.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here. Like, just nice to meet you. This is why I'm going to take this class and so on. And I guess it does make the difference, like you said. And I think just when you are open to people, you be an open book and you kind of just let people into your experience wherever you are, whether that's good or bad. Like, you can talk about the challenges that you're facing as well. And that's also really valid. And people will meet you where you're at. And then they'll kind of see, okay, what can I do to help you? Or how can we work together on something? So I think really just being honest and being open with people is often the best practice. And for me, that came after just years of, not being that way and kind of having to learn that. Some people might learn that faster, I think, but for me, it just sort of was years of just putting myself out there and trying to pursue things that I wanted to do. In which case, you ended up having to reach out to people, and you had to seek help and learn things. So it definitely comes with practice, and the more you put yourself out there, the more you speak to people and just be open about it, I think it gets easier and easier.
How have you connected with the students? I know it was probably very challenging to come back in your mind, like, I'm an older student, I was here, 10 plus years ago, now I'm back. What your expectation was of being in a classroom. Classrooms look a little different, than 10 years ago. Yeah. School's a little bit different. Professors are a little bit different. Expectation levels are a little bit different. So how did you kind of take on the students and then that kind of element of that feel of being back in a classroom and interacting?
Yeah, it was definitely a little strange at first. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I was definitely, I thought it'd be more uncomfortable, to be completely honest. I thought maybe I would feel a little more isolated, but it's sort of the minute I came back, it's like riding a bike. I was immediately accepted. Everybody sort of found it interesting, I think. They were just more so, either they found it interesting or they just genuinely didn't care. They were just like, okay, you're another student. So I think it was, okay. Which I think is also a pro, because I think sometimes in people's heads, they have it worked out like, oh, everyone's going to care about me or what I think, or, we might be sort of so self-conscious in the fact that we think everybody's going to look at us and be, oh, what's he doing or what's he concerning himself, So I feel like in a good way, people either just kind of were like, hey, you're another student, you're one of us, we accept you immediately, or they found it interesting and wanted to speak about it. And right now I've been trying to get involved as much as I can, speaking to members of the theater club. I just attended one of their shows on last Friday. So trying to get involved a little bit as much as I can, speak to them about their journeys, find out more about what they're doing. And just really try to be a part of that community now and just be honest and be open and talk to everybody.
I think you're kind of trying to take my job here with this podcast about learning about everyone's journey and who's in the class, but I love it. So when I, thought about doing this podcast and you had reached out to me and we had exchanged emails back and forth, what I really thought was very interesting was your own story and your own journey of like what you wanted to do and how you set forth to do that. Can you share a little bit more? I know we said a few of the things in your bio. Share a little bit more with us about your endeavor, where are you at? What are some of the great highlights of your career so far? Because you have a lot. So could you share that with us?
Yeah. So I was acting for a long time, like we talked about. The short version is about 5 years ago, I started screenwriting as my primary focus, still acting as well. And I went to University of Cambridge, online program actually that you talked about. Mm-hmm. And just started learning writing, really getting into that craft. And from that moment on, I've been working on this one big project, feature film. I've done a lot of shorts, but this was a big passion project, get everybody involved type situation. And I've had the idea in my head for 5 years that I wanted to make it. And it's taken this long to finally now be in the process of bringing on investors, getting capital, putting together our team. It's going to be shot entirely here in Burlington County. Where, awesome. Yes, absolutely. It's all local talent, locally shot, locally sourced. And it's going to be a lot of fun. we'll tell everybody about it. Everyone will come out, and you can check our socials at DS3 Films and get ready, get updates for it.
That's awesome. So you're still making connections. What kind of
Yeah.
connections have you made with your other classmates other than, I know you said about the theater club. What about like in class, like collaborating with them, working with them?
Yeah, we've done a lot of group projects in the class that I have here in person. And I mean, I've met a lot of bright students that had really, really interesting ideas and were really, really impressing me a lot. And some of them also are sharing their creative endeavors as well. So I know some students that want to be writers, and they'll be like, hey, can I send you some writing and things like that? So I've definitely been meeting a lot of students with very interesting, varied backgrounds, and yeah, a lot to offer. So it's definitely, you meet really, really talented people here, I think.
So you've had a very up and down journey because you shared that, you had some momentum and that you've done some amazing things in the entertainment space, but then you had some personal health issues and things like that. Would you mind sharing how you've what has happened and then how you overcame them? Because I think other students probably have similar stories and they really just don't know how to share, and then maybe do what you've done, that kind of take that power and that, momentum and come back and finish school or be a go-getter and produce a feature film.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely the most serious thing was at the very start of this year. I began having this heart issue, which eventually led to surgery. I had to get a heart surgery. And I was actually still taking classes here at the time, the spring semester.
Wow.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough challenge. And I mean, I'm an older student, but I'm still in my 20s, so it's a bit of
Yeah.
a shock just from a medical standpoint.
Certainly.
Yeah, so that was definitely a challenge. I think for me, I'm somebody who I think once you kind of find your goals in life and you put your mind to something, you just find a way to make it work. And for me, I honestly was kind of driven by the fact that I had this project that I wanted to work on and people were already excited about it. I already had people interested in it. And I sort of made a promise to myself that I was going to make it. And I do honestly think that helped get me through that. And of course, the commitment to the school, I was already in classes. So I was like, hey, I got to do this project anyway. If I have to go to the hospital, then still have to meet my assignment deadlines. So I don't know. For me, I think I definitely found having these deadlines and having these goals help push me through, because my mentality was never really self-pity or anything like that. I was always just like, hey, I just have to do that anyway. So let's just get this fixed and move on.
You've a wonderful mindset and such a positive feeling about you. Who has inspired you?
Great question. Oh my goodness. So many people. That's a hard question. I have a lot of people that I look up to in my life currently. For sure, my parents have always inspired me. My two older brothers have always been role models for me. I've learned a lot from them. And honestly, at the school here, I feel like every one of my professors in some way or another have honestly inspired me, especially since I've come here, some of my in-person classes. So getting to meet them and speak to them and hear their stories, I think I've honestly been inspired by them in a way as well. And I guess to extend it, just the overall student body here at RCBC, just hearing what everyone wants to do and the excitement that a lot of the students have about their future, that inspires me too. And yeah, everyone, talking about, oh, where do I want to go after this? RCBC can be a good opportunity to go to a 4-year college after. So that inspires me. But yeah, there's so many mentors to name.
So after this feature film, what's the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan? Where are you seeing yourself post RCBC and post this amazing feature film that you're going to be shooting here in South Jersey?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I would like to be making more films in the future. That's definitely something I want to keep doing. I have a few ideas after this initial one. So hopefully still making movies. And honestly, this is something that I hadn't even thought about until I came back to RCBC. But I do honestly want to finish that bachelor's degree. So the school has had a lot of resources. The advising team here is amazing, the transfer team and things like that. And even the professors. So I'm really interested I'm not exactly sure where that's going to be. I'm looking into that now. I've done a few tours. But yeah, I'm actually considering now going to a 4-year school and finishing that degree finally.
Well, you are such an inspiration, and I know from how you speak about your professors and the other peers in your class that I'm sure you inspire them. Could you leave them with a piece of advice since you are coming back, being around them, hearing what their goals and dreams are? What advice would you give them right now? That's you 10 years ago.
Mhm. Yeah, great question. I think it's there's a few parts to it. One, definitely take the time to find out who you are and what you want to do. And a good way to do that is to be open with others, like we were talking about in the beginning, and speaking with your professors, speaking with advisors, speaking with your peers, anybody you have to, your friends, family, just to be open and be like, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm really feeling passionate about this. What can I do? Like maybe just put it out there in the world. Like, hey, this is what I want to do. How can I get there? If you don't know, do some research, figure it out. But definitely try to find out what it is you really are passionate about and follow that through and open it up to the world. Because I think when you put something out there, it helps get momentum, and the world will kind of push it forward, I think, in a way, if not to get too kind of like out there woo woo with it. But I definitely think put it out there, the energy will build and you'll have that momentum.
Okay, last question before we wrap. Favorite class?
Oh my God, favorite class. For me, okay, there's a few. I have a cinema class right now, and that's always fantastic with William Wend, and he gives some good recommendations. So I think just because I love movies, I have to give it to that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your voice with us today, Dillon. We are super proud of you to have you as an RCBC student and a Baron here at campus. And best of luck to everything you do in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Who's in My Class. We hope today inspired you and showed you the incredible journeys happening all around us. Every student at RCBC has a powerful story. By listening, you're helping us celebrate the unique and diverse people who make up the heart of our college. Be sure to subscribe and join us as we spotlight another amazing student. Until then, remember to be curious. Your next source of inspiration is probably sitting right next to you.